I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis. He is Julio. Welcome.
Yeah, baby.
Welcome back to our podcast. I have a promise right up top to our lovely listeners. Ready for this, Julio?
Who we love.
Yes, that's it. I promise to speak more quickly. That's my goal. I have been listening back to episodes
Midsummer resolution
recently because I have been saying things that constantly get me in trouble, as usual. For some reason, it's really picked up lately. So I have had to go back and listen to huge segments of myself speaking. And let me tell you, it is torture.
Dude,
I don't know how you guys have the patience.
Dude, the thing, like, of course you are an odd guy. Look at what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Of course you speak slowly and get yourself in trouble regularly. You're dressed like a troublesome young man, dude.
Well, the line between contemplative and indulgent is razor thin. And sometimes I think that what appears to be me really choosing my words very carefully versus me just holding court and knowing that given I only have one co-host that no one's going to interrupt me, it's ridiculous. I am taking a long time between words. A long, long time. And I hope that some of you out there at least are able to listen to it, our podcast at 1.5x speed or something to diminish the gaps.
Well, if you guys, I wish you could see what Francis is wearing right now. Check out either our social clips on our Instagram or the YouTube channel, because we've established that Francis doesn't have any real clothes.
Yeah, I don't. Not many.
You just don't.
Well, you know,
all novelty items.
Julio, here's the thing. Okay, first of all, June, July. July has been a really bad spending month for me.
Is this the product of this bad spending?
Yes, dude.
I mean, dude, your clothes, it doesn't look like you're going to the Met Gala. It looks like you're going to teach little kids instruments.
Steel drums.
All of your clothes are like, oh, it's Dan the man. What's up, kids?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Julio. This is what happened, okay? July got away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the summer often does get away from me.
Interesting.
July got away from me. The credit card, the floodgates opened. And instead of being smart and saying, well, let's limit the damage, my mentality shifted to, well, the wheels have come off. We might as well go for broke.
Right.
And spending lost its sting.
That happens, dude. That happens. Sometimes you get a little out of control and you're like, yeah, fuck it.
That's what happened.
Yeah,
I said, fuck it.
That happened to me for 10 years. And it was terrible. Oh my God. And that's why I pay my credit card bill every day now. So I understand.
Dude, I don't know what happened. It's as if I all of a sudden found the bravery to spend.
Yeah.
Meaning, for so many months, I have been so abstemious, and yet now in the if I find Manhattan has become a problem.
So what have you been spending money on? I'm sure you were getting to that.
This shit.
But what else? Like extravagant dinners, Ubering,
not really dinners so much. It's I have all these weddings coming up, right? And so
when's the first one?
That I'm leaving Thursday.
Okay. And where is it?
Vail.
Oh, wow.
Colorado.
Wow.
And I'm really looking forward to it.
That's going to be awesome.
Well, first of all, because it's the first of the lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not tired yet.
Right. Dude, I need to interrupt you very quickly. I'm sorry. Someone said something hilarious. So like, when did Francis go from the guy who loved weddings to the guy who hates them more than anything? And I was like, holy shit.
When was I the guy who loved weddings,
You
though?
used to talk about how much you loved weddings all the time.
Come on.
Jackson is the person who said this, and shout out to him because it's very true. And then your tone shifted very kind of starkly, and it was very obvious that you suddenly hated weddings. So it's good to see positive wedding Francis
Look,
back in the mix.
It's a selfish sentiment from me, for sure. Basically, my distaste for weddings boils down to one thing, and that is the commitment and the money. Well, that's two things, but that they demand. My calendar is chock full. It's too full. It's overfilled, which stresses me out.
Is part of it stressful because you need to be doing comedy also?
Well,
or do you not care?
That and the double combination of knowing that a wedding is extremely expensive, but that it also takes me away from earning money.
Right.
Meaning it's two whatever. It's like a 2 point
steps in the wrong
swing or a
direction.
4 point swing in basketball.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. 3-pointer turnover, 3-pointer.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's really a challenge, and yet I do this first wedding is a very dear friend of mine, one of my closest friends. I'm in the wedding. I've been asked to speak at the rehearsal dinner.
Awesome.
I'm preparing a little.
And you're ready to go, dude. You're lubed up and ready to rock.
Yeah. And so my thought is that for all of these weddings, they are often near pools, and the wedding guests are going to be hanging out at the pools. So I've been buying a lot of pool outfits. And that's what this is. This is a pool outfit. I'm wearing a bathing suit.
Breaking it in, dude.
This is a bathing suit.
That thing is great, dude.
Top to bottom. The shirt has a little bit of towel lining on the inside, which would be good when I'm in and out of the pool, like an otter.
Yeah, that thing looks like you were hired to bang all the older women. Dude, that's awesome, man. I too have my first wedding coming up this weekend, and I'm going to be rocking my new tux.
Talk about
Shout
the
out
tux.
Savage Suiting, dude.
I shamed Julio a few episodes back. I shamed him into buying a tux.
Well, so I didn't because I got hooked up, dude.
I shamed a tuxedo company into giving Julio a tux.
Savage Suiting, they're based in California. They're fucking awesome. The guy essentially eyeballed my measurements and was exactly right. Because I actually went to a tailor and the tailor fucked up. Like this guy was originally right. I mean, and dude, it's a really nice looking tuxedo. And I'm really excited to rock it for the first time.
That is huge perk.
Massive for the
Perk
boys.
status. I have to say,
Massive.
sometimes I do think that Julio actually gets more perks than I do from the podcast.
Dude, I have
your hotel room, the tuxedo.
I have a really funny story.
You are
about this.
the perk queen. He's a perky little bitch over
So
here.
dude, listen to this. Listen, you're gonna love this. So
where's my perks?
So dude, most recently I was in DC. Thank you to everybody who came out. The shows were amazing. Really felt good to be getting back out there, stretching my legs, doing a lot of time. I felt like I did a lot of punch up, and I feel like a better comedian.
That's great.
Which we talked about that, and dude, it's amazing. So I hope to be back on the road. Hope more dates are coming. Anyway, I get a message before the show from this guy who's like, "Hey, dude, my girlfriend and I are going away tomorrow. We wanted to offer you our apartment. We have a great pool. If you guys want to stay in the apartment, whatever." And I was like, dude, well, we already have an Airbnb, but like maybe we'll use the pool. And he's like, dude, absolutely. So I go and I meet him after the show. His name's David. And him and his girlfriend are standing there. And he's like, dude, I just feel like from listening to the podcast that people just give you stuff. So
That's right.
I wanted to
David.
get in on it.
Spot on. They give Julio stuff.
So I was like, dude, yeah, we'll probably just use the pool. He's like, dude, feel free to use the apartment, do whatever you want in there. And I see his girlfriend make a face like, oh my God. And then he's like, what? I was like, and then he messaged me. He's like, she wants you to know that like she is very into the idea of you guys being in the apartment. Don't worry. They left us. They left us a couple of joints. We went in there.
Oh my God.
The apartment was sick, dude. Like they have like a David. I don't want you to think I was snooping around your apartment, but they have like a walking desk with a treadmill, which I was very impressed by.
I've always been troubled by that idea, though.
I mean, it seems like a nice change,
Let me
dude.
tell you something. The idea of walking while I work.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
definitely different. It's different.
I understand standing desks. Those to me seem like a very smart idea, especially
Right.
given that at a lot of the jobs I've had, fatigue is something that's very hard for me to battle. My eyelids start flying at half mast.
So by standing,
By standing,
counteracts
I
that.
would not succumb to my fatigue. But walking on a treadmill whilst I work, that's one step too far.
fair.
Where are we
You don't
going
want to
here?
be sweating. You don't want to be sweating.
Yeah,
I
where are
feel
we
you.
going?
You're right.
You know?
So anyway, shout out David and Moravia. I hope I'm saying your name right. to letting us use their
It's
apartment.
unbelievable. You're one step away from someone offering you their girlfriend for the weekend.
Dude, that's what all the guys that we were down there, Benny and Ricky, were saying. They're like, dude, one day
Yeah.
someone's gonna give you their girlfriend.
Mm.
And I was like, she's welcome.
Wow. Well, that's good, man. I'm happy for you. I'm being a little bit ridiculous. We do receive some wonderful things. In fact, I've got something cool to show you.
I love it.
So this is from Midwest Barrel Company. And they are a company that breaks down and sort of refashions old liquor aging barrels
Oh, cool.
and casks into fun things that you can use. And they actually cut this up for us into a really
Wow,
cool
dude.
piece of art. They've
That is
carved
fucking sick.
our Oops logo into this lovely siding kind of panel of the barrel. Midwest Barrel Company. They make really cool stuff, all kinds of stuff. Check them out. They also sent me a number of broken down pieces of maple syrup aged barrel chunks to use for meat smoking.
Wow, dude. How cool is that?
That's what I'm really excited about.
Unbelievable.
Some bags of that to help me, get back on the smoking train.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that is
We really appreciate
awesome.
everybody who it's just really nice to receive some gifts. Chris, could you pass me my bottle of water? I'm sorry.
Dude, I feel like I cut you off with the veil thing. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
There's something very funny about going to this rehearsal dinner for a dear friend of mine and performing as I will a piece that I've created just a week or two removed from being paid to do exactly that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Where I almost feel like, I hope this couple appreciates that I'm rendering these services free of charge.
How much this is worth.
In fact,
You don't need to bring a gift?
I really don't know if I should be giving a cash gift.
Is that what you're thinking?
Because what I was paid to do this 2 weeks ago is so much more than what I was giving as a gift. But I gotta do it. Gotta do
give
it.
the cash.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get out to Vail. Vail, what a beautiful place that is.
I've never been.
You go to the ski towns in the summer, you get a totally different look.
Totally, dude. And honestly, and this is as a person whose parents are fucking immigrants who never learned how to ski. I always associate those two things.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because Italy has pretty good skiing.
I know, but like my parent, neither of them can really swim and neither of them can ski. And I feel like that's some quote unquote immigrant shit.
Really?
Dude, my mom was born staring at the sea. and none of them can swim.
Boy, that's odd.
I know, it's great.
That's
I think
odd.
my Zio Butch actually can kind of swim. The story that he tells is that someone, his cousin, just pushed him into the ocean.
Yeah, we used to do that with our puppies. What is it about? I don't think you can really be being a responsible parent to me means teaching your kid to swim
I swim.
more than even
taught me to swim,
riding.
dude.
I think swimming is more important than riding a bicycle.
Dude, they actually signed me up for so many swimming lessons that I graduated, and then they just gave me my own class of students. That's my parents. My
Wow.
parents put me in swimming lessons for the whole summer. I graduated. So then I was like, can I just have my own class? They're like, sure. So I just became.
Sounds like this YMCA was understaffed.
Well, dude, I mean, so I'm a proficient swimmer, as is my brother.
Okay, all right.
So,
What was your best stroke?
freestyle probably.
Yeah, freestyle.
You
Okay.
too? I think it's most people's.
Yeah, that was probably the one. Exactly. The one where I could get around the fastest doing that.
Yeah. So, Francis, this is funny. I recently have been. Do you ever wonder about the percentage of humidity? Do you ever wonder about this?
I do. Well, ever since you started talking about it, that has become an important metric in my life.
So did I talk about this already? Okay. So, dude, it's mind blowing to me sometimes how you won't be thinking about something, and all you have to do is Google it. Sorry.
Keep him in asking if he'd already
I forget
said
if I did this already, but it's amazing. I'll be wondering about shit for 10 years, and all I had to do was Google it. I'd be like, I wonder if 50% humidity is a lot of humidity. And instead, I don't look it up, and all I needed to do was look it up to find
I
out
see what
very
you mean.
specifically what it is.
I see what you mean.
And dude, it's been humid as hell
It sure has been.
in the city.
You know how you can kind of mitigate humidity?
How?
Keep yourself nice and trim, especially in the nether regions. Oh my
I
golly
know where this
goodness,
is going.
gee, oh boy.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Manscaped has you covered, guys. The Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 is the latest and greatest in men's below-the-waist grooming techniques. They offer precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the 4.0, the Lawnmower 4.0, and you can join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you.
Oops 20 is the code to use at checkout.
Oops 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code Oops 20 at manscaped.com. I got to tell you, Julio, I've used trimmers in the past that have left me pockmarked, gouged, streaming blood down my
Oozing.
Yeah, just really
God.
a war zone, as if I trying to vault over like that deer that was strangled. Like trying to vault over some razor wire. That's what I look like down there. And not so with my Lawnmower 4.0. It is protective from nicks and cuts. It is smooth, it's gentle, and it gets the job done. I love the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped. As we said, use promo code OOPS20. You'll get 20% off. Go to manscaped.com now.
Dude, speaking of deer, at the end of the episode, I want to tell another deer story.
Oh,
we have
gosh.
another deer story that's really good that I'm looking forward to telling you. But I want to hear more about this this weekend that you had.
I was thinking about this the other day. Nightclubs. Okay. Well, actually, I'll back up a second because the reason I'm bringing this up is that this past weekend, I went out to Quogue in Long Island. Sort of like a young Hampton.
Yeah.
A
So
little
dude,
Hampton.
I know it well. And it's funny, I know about this already. And I was waiting to see if you were going to share it with me or not.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, I would know that I had some leverage over you for blackmail.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. How cunning.
Should that day ever arise,
How sly.
where you push me in a corner, I pull Quogue out of my back pocket.
Quogue.
But unfortunately,
Yeah.
you're still all good.
Well, Quogue is this great town that I know because back when I was tutoring, a lot of my students, that's where their summer homes were. And I would go out there for these SAT boot camps that I would teach
So
to
funny.
small groups of students. And, we would work on verbal for a couple hours and then we would jump in the pool and then have lunch and then.
Dude, I'm cracking up about the idea of SAT boot camp. Like, picturing Full Metal Jacket. You little shits think you know the English language? Turn to page 55.
You can't even simplify an equation. Your parents don't love you, you maggot. Oh, man.
All right, continue.
So, okay. So Quogue is this town I was introduced to that by virtue of tutoring, that I grew to love.
It's
because
basically the Hamptons.
It is, but it is decidedly less pretentious than the Hamptons.
And it's closer, and it's not. Doesn't
only an
have
hour and
the
a half
name-
drive.
It doesn't have the name Hampton in it, but it's the Hamptons.
Exactly. So you get, that's the biggest thing, is you get there without having to deal with any of the traffic.
It's not as bad, yeah.
And I think that they're probably the property values still are a little bit lower. And you can kind of get a more summery community without having to buy into the glitz and glamour and old money of
These are fair assumptions.
Southampton,
Totally.
East Hampton, whatever it is. So I was invited by an old student of mine that I had taught to come play in a member guest mixed doubles tennis tournament.
Fucking fun.
And what an first of all, what an amazing invitation. I believe she does listen to some of the podcast.
Were you out there already?
No.
Cool.
I drove out on Saturday morning very early.
Cool.
And my girlfriend was away for the weekend. So I was in charge of looking after Kojai. And I made the decision to bring him with me out there.
Nice.
And I let them know. I said, I asked it permission. I said, I've got this little dog that I'm looking after. He's very, very well behaved. He's very well liked.
Bro, he's your dog. What do you mean you're looking after it?
Well, by myself
Okay.
is what I meant. I meant I can't. It's not as if my
sounded
girlfriend
crazy.
had been here, I wouldn't have
Right.
asked.
Yes, of course.
At
of
all.
course,
I would have
of
just
course.
left him. But
You were the sole.
I said I
Caretaker.
have been left in the charge of this dog that is ours.
Right.
And so it's a long day. Any chance, if it's totally cool, if not. And she said, absolutely bring him. Great. But we woke up at 6 a.m. because our first match was at 8:30.
Oh, wow.
So we woke up super early. I didn't have time I was out late I had 4 shows on Friday night.
God,
so
dude.
I got off stage at like 11:45.
Jesus.
And then didn't get home till 12:30, whatever. And so didn't sleep much. Woke up super early. Didn't have time to take Kojai for a walk before we got in the car and drove out to Quogue. So I get there around 8:20. And I drop him at their home in Quogue. And then my partner and I drive to the tennis courts.
Was it Clay?
Yeah.
Nice.
But I knew he hadn't gone to the bathroom. So I was sort of letting him run around the yard. He dipped into the woods for a second. I thought, okay, probably went to the bathroom. We're probably good. But my partner's sister was going to be kind of playing with him in the morning.
Okay.
And I said, okay, so, we get to the tennis courts. We leave Kojai in their house. And I said, what time does your sister wake up? And she goes, probably 10 a.m. And I was like, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
And sure enough, we play our first match. And then my partner tells me, she gets a text. She goes, I think your dog went to the bathroom in the house.
No.
And he had shit on the floor. And I had
Better than peeing, honestly.
I know. And he has very firm poops.
That's
so
great.
they're easy to pick up. But my God, this poor girl woke up in her summer bed in this clean, beautiful house to the smell of dog shit from a dog she's never met before. And what could be worse? Not only that,
but her parents weren't there. It was the sister found it, discovered the shit.
Yeah, I think the parents were kind of out and about.
That's probably for the best.
Yes. And this is legitimately the most wonderful family I've ever met.
Yeah.
So they were super nice and cool about it. But I had spent an hour sort of describing how well behaved he was and how little of an imposition he would be. And sure enough, here he goes. And he never does that.
Right.
He was desperate.
Yes.
And had no choice. He was inside a house. So we already starting off. Then we lose our first match in a tiebreaker. We were down 5-1. It was a superset to 8.
Okay.
And we clawed back from 5-1 down to 7-7 and then lost in a tiebreak.
Damn.
And
what
then
was the score in the breaker?
Probably like 7-3. Something like that.
But 5-1 down to come back, that's pretty solid.
That was big. We were
pro sets?
Yes, pro sets. We were proud of ourselves. My partner's very good.
She's
awesome. Very, very good. And we played really well. And then we had a second match at like 11, at which point it was 100 degrees. And that match, I'm not kidding, Julio, I could barely move.
Wow.
My legs were giving out as I was chasing balls down. I felt like an elderly person.
I can help you, dude. I've played tennis with you. You don't move efficiently on the court.
No, sure don't.
I'll help you.
I pound.
I actually find it fun to play against you for that reason, because you're fast and I know you're going to get the ball. So like what you do is you run and then you keep running.
Yeah, I'm a rhinoceros.
You're supposed to run to the ball and then plant and then hit it so you can recover. But Francis turns profile, runs to the ball, gets it, runs 10 more feet, turns around.
I have a lot of momentum, okay? It's not easy for me to put the brakes on.
You're just a pure athlete.
I'm not wearing cleats out there, though. I don't know how to I can't turn on a dime.
And Francis is one of the best non-tennis players that I've ever met.
Oh, that's very sweet.
You're welcome. You're very good. It's clear that like if you spent time doing it, you would have been like exceptional.
Well, that's very kind. I appreciate that. My technique is certainly lacking. But we played in this tournament and we had an absolute ball. After the second match, which we lost again, we kind of knew we were out of it, right?
Is it round robin? First round or whatever?
Yeah.
Cool.
And by the way, the field was pretty stacked, where a lot of women members who were solid themselves had brought in active Division I tennis players.
They brought in a ringer.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Be like really top UVA, top tier schools.
Yeah.
And then some really good D3 players too.
I mean,
So, fortunately, by losing that first round, We did play, I think, there was the woman on that team the first round was heading to play at Davidson.
Oh, wow.
Or was currently playing at Davidson.
I knew a guy
She
who
was
played there
very good.
who played on the tour.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah.
So we didn't end up having to face too many of those Division I teams, which was a blessing because we would have gotten smashed. However, as we fell further and further down the bracket, we realized we had no chance, that we weren't playing for anything really.
Mm-hmm.
And by our third and final match on Saturday, the idea was that if we won the match, we would have to come back on Sunday for a consolation match.
Oh.
But if we lost it, we were out for
Mhm.
good. Now I had no ability to even come back on Sunday. I
Right.
kind of even thought it was a one-day event.
Right.
So we get this couple, and we kind of agree that we have to lose this match. Have you ever intentionally lost a sporting event in your life? You ever thrown a game?
I don't think so. I do. I just like,
It's not great.
it's terrible. I don't think I have it in me, to be honest.
I went back through my head,
I would win and then just pull out, I think.
but we couldn't do that
Why?
because it would have looked bad.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I said, I don't think I can lose intentionally, so I'm willing to fake an injury. And my partner was like, all right, if that's how you want to do it. And then I chased a ball down, a lob, and ran into the back fence and legitimately injured myself.
Dude, that's the second time you've conjured something up like that in the last couple weeks. Started with
Art
the tikka
imitating-
masala.
Yeah, art imitating life.
That's crazy.
And it was shortly after I said that to her, because
That's
we were
crazy.
doing these little conferences where I think our opponents thought we were,
Talking strategy.
talking about strategy, and we were like, should we try to lose? Or like, what's the injury I should fake? And I was like, tell them I pulled my calf. Sure enough, they hit a lob. I chase it down, and it's clay, so I don't really stop myself, and I smash into the back fence like it's hockey boards and bounce off. My racket goes flying. Her whole family's watching from the sidelines, plus a few other kids that I used to tutor out there. They are howling, laughing.
Dude, that's so
Laughing their heads up. This is a very kind of prim and proper tennis tournament, and I'm playing it as if I am a lunatic,
running for every ball.
screaming things like I'd miss a shot, and I'd be like, I got so excited that the ball was coming to me that I didn't think about what I actually had to do. And then the court next to us starts laughing midpoint, and they're like, can you keep it down? I'm like, I'm a comedian. I have no governor on what I say. So anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I had a blast with my friend Charlotte. So Charlotte, if you're listening, thank you so much.
Well, dude, so I got the tip off that you were playing,
Yeah, tell me about that.
and I was just kind of curious. I'm like, okay, like Francis is playing with one of his like old students who's like, has a house in Quogue, like fancy New York City girl. I'm just like assuming she's hot. And
God.
I kind of just start thinking, I'm like, I wonder like if like, do you need to have a conversation with your girlfriend to be able to do that? Like, is there anything weird about it? Like, is there something inherently weird about going when you have a girlfriend and playing in some event like that? Is it weird? I'm sure it isn't. And you just told the story, so I know that it isn't, but could it be? And why isn't it?
I think for me, the reason that I didn't even think along those lines was that these kids were my students, and I've known them since they were 17.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've just forever been too young for me to ever consider as like potential dating candidates or whatever. Even though now they're all 23, 24, but I also had not really kept up with them all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was so fun for me to hear about where they're at in their lives now, and hear how they're now going out to the same places in New York City that I went to when
Right.
I was 24. They've got boyfriends, they've got
Mhm.
social lives, and we can connect on a more kind of adult level. If anything, I'm sure that they think like it's kind of weird that I, at 32, am coming out to
Right.
hang around and do
Yeah,
this
maybe.
stuff with them.
But also maybe not, dude, because I don't know. I, as a person who used to teach tennis, it's obviously different, but there were certainly times where I had teenage clients or whatever, people that I would teach, whether it was a group setting, private lesson, who then became adults and then would like slide in the DMs trying to smash,
Oh,
which like,
yeah. I've never had that from a former student. I really, I mean, these kids I had, it's ridiculous to call them kids, but I did have them when they were kids. Were just too, you know, they were too young. I was 27. They were
Right.
26. They were 17, 18, whatever.
Mhm.
And it just, that would never have, everything was above board, you know?
Fair enough. Love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
But, you know, I get what you mean, where you do find yourself thinking a lot when you are hanging out with somebody of the opposite sex. You know, does this look okay?
Totally.
What are the optics of this?
Totally.
Am I being appropriate just by virtue of accepting an invitation?
Totally. And my buddy who you said you met, Rudy,
Yeah.
he's out there, and I know a few people. Our pal Anthony Adler has a house out there too.
Oh, is that so?
And
Okay.
also, a couple of people, whatever, buddy Thomas, etc., whatever. But he is the one who sort of was like, "Oh, Francis is here playing in this pro-am with this like girl from the club, blah 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 blah." blah. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Whatever. And not weird, like, huh? But I was just kind of like, "Oh, cool." Like, I bet
Yeah.
he was so excited. Like, I'm sure the idea of playing in a tournament made you so excited.
I think I got invited the day before and then went, which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me,
Yeah, yeah.
which of course you were.
Oh
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tennis? I'm telling you. That's you. That's all you.
But dude, what a throwback to sort of like a fun summer thing. You know, you're going out to the beach town. Francis is already laughing. You're going out to the beach town. You're going to spend time with your friends, family. You get there, you open the fridge. What's in the fridge?
Stewart's spiked seltzer. You
Well,
hope.
Now it's Stewart Spiked Seltzer. Back in the day, it would have been Stewart Soda.
I see what you said.
But
yeah, I see
Stewart
what you mean
Spiked
by that.
Seltzer,
Yeah, they are really.
it's a wonderful revamp of that feeling.
It's just an homage to a wonderfully nostalgic soda that we all loved so dearly.
So right now you can get it in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Colorado. They're doing a rollout nationally at some point in the beginning of 2022. A bunch of people have been hitting us up asking where they can get them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to stewartspike.com. So it's stewartspiked.com. It's not two S's in the middle. It's stewartspike.com. And there's a store locator. And by looking at the store locator, you can figure out where you can get them, or you can also hit up the Instagram, spelled the same way, at Stewart Spiked, and they'll tell you where you can get, where they sell it near you.
Hell yeah. 100 calories, 0 to 1 grams of sugar, 1 gram of carbs. I mean, it's really just not that heavy for you.
It's great. And they have all the old flavors too. And honestly, it tastes so similar, like the way that they've been able to capture the taste of the soda for an adult beverage. I'm really impressed. Hats off to the people at Stewart Spiked. They have the root beer flavor, orange cream, black cherry. My favorite flavor is changing constantly. I've been crushing a couple of these a day. I probably got to go easy on it, but since it's so low cal and guilt free, it's hard.
Yeah.
So crushing it.
We used to do sleepovers at my buddy Hillman's place.
Hillman?
Hillman, yeah. That was his first name. Hillman
That's what I
Norberg.
call my girlfriend, Hillman.
Hillman Norberg. Great friend of mine growing up. And his family was very successful. And so we always used to love going to their house because they had an entire refrigerator just for drinks.
Dude,
And I think it was all kids' drinks too.
of course, you
And
always remember that.
They had the Stewart's root beer
Dude,
in the bottles.
absolutely.
And that's what I distinctly remember. Every time I think of Stewart's, I think of Hillman, sleepovers at Hillman's house. We'd order a pizza.
Dude.
We'd play Mario Kart until 2 in the morning.
Amazing.
We would drink Stewart's root beers.
Shout out Nick Torelli. Same
Yeah.
thing. Stocked. So go grab some Stewart Spiked. Enjoy your summer.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thought I had about this, the reason I brought all this up was that some of these kids were talking about nightclubs, right? And I was thinking about I don't miss going to nightclubs at all. I do not miss being told by a doorman, sorry, we're having a private event tonight, which is the line they give you when you're not allowed in.
Right. But also, I imagine that at some point during your nightclub tenure, you realized that it wasn't worth going unless you had your ducks in a line and you were either getting on someone's table or you knew the guy or like you had some way to avoid that happening.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
sure that
That's true. And really the answer is you just end up paying a ton of money.
Right.
But I was thinking about this. These days, as you just said, I would never go somewhere with my friends to drink if there was a single chance that when we got there, we were not going to be allowed in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Imagine if someone said, hey, on Thursday, you should come to a dinner party at our apartment. We're having a bunch of people over, but just know there's a chance that when you ring our doorbell, we might just tell you that you can't come in. Sorry, we're at capacity. There's a private party here tonight. It's like, yeah, I thought that's what I was invited to.
Or they just let your friend's girlfriend in and you're like, no more guys.
Yeah. Or they don't like the shoes you're wearing, so you cannot come in to have the caprese salad.
Dude, how many times have you seen that? No sneakers. Bro, these are Prada sneakers.
I know.
These cost more than your whole salary.
Well, what that always brings to mind for me is when I was in England, when I was in high school, and they would say, no trainers.
Oh, that's funny.
No trainers.
No trainers.
Or one time I wore a Manchester United jersey to a bar / nightclub in London, and they were like, no football colors. That's how they described jerseys. They're like, you can't wear any soccer paraphernalia for any team because the allegiances are so deep.
That's so funny.
That it could
It'll
lead to
start
fights.
violence. Dude. I have a funny story about getting, this is a nice rejection story. I think I maybe told this, but literally 100 episodes ago, so I'm going to tell it again.
Excellent.
And I'm going to tell it in a short version. So the Jane, a place we both used to love going to, Jane Hotel. This is early in my tenure going out there, and I didn't have a connection. So this girl asked me if I was going there later, and I said yes, because I wanted to hook up with her. I go, and I don't get in. So then I'm sitting outside. I like text one of my friends. I'm like, can you try to help me get in, whatever. And I am sitting outside waiting to get an update, and she walks by.
Oh,
and she says, hey, what's up? She's like, did you go, like, are you going back in? And I was like, no, I think I'm going to leave. Cause like, I acted like I was already in. So I was like, I'm actually going to leave. Cause like,
too hot in there.
Yeah, exactly. I started making up these crazy excuses. She's like, okay.
Bathroom was overflowing.
Dude. And it actually started to seem like I just wasn't interested in her, which
boy.
I didn't want to happen, but that was better than her
Sure
knowing
was.
I couldn't get in.
Sure was.
As that's about to work, as she's walking away, the friend who was helping me, over the like part where the fenced off area, he reaches over to the bouncer and he just yells, hey, G, sorry, I don't think we can get you in, dude. Right in front of her, dude.
You mean back in? I already have a stamp, but I'm done, man. I told you, I'm done for the night.
Dude, so embarrassing. So fucking humiliating.
Oh, that's tough.
And I don't remember how that panned out with her. Probably not well, I imagine. But what are you going to do?
Yes.
But dude, I'll tell you what, nightclubs were super fun when you were single, dude.
That's true.
They were amazing. Like,
That's
I
true.
think that if I were single, the idea of going would be more fun than it is. However, the idea of like going out to a club with a bunch of my friends sounds really fun still too.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Getting fucked up with my girlfriend, hanging out, like that could be fun.
Something to celebrate.
We should do that one
I
of these
keep
days.
thinking that if I do win the security deposit back, I'm just going to blow it all on a big nightclub party.
And send the guy pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. And say, thank you for financing our fun. By the way, we destroyed this place. They actually did not let us keep our deposit.
Go to his
Here.
bar, dude, and fuck it up.
I know.
He probably owns something like that.
There's no update on that story. I think it's just
COVID gridlock.
It's a total waiting game as to when the court is going to give us a date to meet there. I wish I had different news because I know people were very excited about that. However, as soon as I hear anything, we'll get that. We'll rev the excitement back up. As I've said, Julio's going to come. I'm going to wear something unbelievable, I'm sure. And, we're going to do everything we can to lose, but still win.
Wear something unbelievable.
I want the guy who I'm taking my money back from to just look at me and think, I cannot believe I'm losing to this guy. This child.
Dude, I love it. I cannot wait. I
Yeah.
will be there.
It's going to be great.
Well, dude, let me ask you this. So, nightclub, all this talk of, I find myself in a place where all of a sudden I'm conscious about budgeting again. Whereas before, I just didn't even think about it because I wasn't doing shit. I was just saving money. I was investing frivolously, buying stupid shit because I had so much extra money because I wasn't.
Must be nice.
I did. It was, at the time, I mean, we've talked about this. Like, during COVID, your expenses went way down.
Yeah.
And now that life is sort of dynamic again for the time being, I'm starting to like be stressed out about budgeting and stuff. And I'm just grateful that I don't feel ashamed saying that to my girlfriend, being like, I've been spending too much money.
Yeah.
And I wonder about these guys who are in these relationships where they can't say that, or they feel like they can't say that.
Well, you know who that happened to famously?
Who?
Marissa's father in the OC.
But exactly, that's the kind of
Was her name Marissa?
I never watched that show, but that's the kind of community where that happens.
Yeah.
In this sort of like, I'm the rich guy, I lead with that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I attract people who want that. And now all of a sudden I'm in a situation where I can't keep up with my wife's expectations or something.
Yeah. 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 You got to set the tone early. And I think there's something very interesting about that moment of opening your finances to each other when you get engaged or married and you sort of blend your bank accounts and everything kind of becomes one.
Mm-hmm.
And there are household expenses and the two of you contribute what you can and all of that. You share everything. How do you sort of say, this is our budget? How do you determine a budget together?
Totally, dude. And we have an email about this if you want to.
Oh,
This could
please.
be helpful, actually.
Good.
This is a good. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, big fan of the pod. My girlfriend and I have been dating for about 9 months now. So for the first half of our relationship, we were stuck inside our apartments and maybe going out to restaurants or drinks together 2 or 3 times a week. I work in finance and she works in marketing, so we're both making decent money and are naturally pretty social people and love going out all the time. When everything opened up, we naturally started escalating the number and cost of outings, which has been a blast. As a result, our personal financial situations have taken a mutual beating as we became accustomed to exploring the re-emerging social scene together on an almost daily basis. I am now unable to afford this lavish lifestyle we've established, but when I brought this up to her, she got angry with me, saying that she couldn't sacrifice the dinners, drinks, and social scenes. The problem is, I know she can't afford it either. I really love this girl, but whenever we talk about money and saving for a potential future together at the expense of bougie nights out on the town, she gets angry and says we can't live without it, causing a major rift in our relationship. I feel like I dug myself into a hole by building high expectations early on in our relationship. Do you guys have any tips for managing your significant other's future financial resource expectations of you? I love her, but I don't know if I can afford her. I know. Holy shit. Holy shit.
It's not hard. This is not hard.
He had the conversation. Props to him.
This is over. It's over. This girl's a lunatic. I can't sacrifice the dinners and the drinks.
Is there a chance that he's being overly fiscally conservative?
Potentially.
And
but let's just take him at face value.
Okay.
And say that he now realizes that they cannot afford that, which is something that often happens, by the way. Your life gets more expensive. You can keep up for a certain amount of time.
Right.
But then you cannot sustain it.
Yes.
Right? Because maybe you've got some money saved, you start doing, and then you go through all that, and you're all of a sudden it's like, okay, we can't go out to dinner 3 nights a week. Whatever it may be, this is ridiculous.
Mm.
This is ridiculous. And they've only been dating 9 months. I think it's perfectly within this guy's right to just say, okay, well, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you from being a total social butterfly. However, it's on you.
Mm.
If you can afford it, do whatever you want. I would never tell you how to spend your money, but just know that I am not able to keep up. So I'm going to do my own thing and you do your own thing. And surely that will not be tenable.
So this all makes a lot of sense, but here's a reason why you might not want to do that. A, you don't want her to be like, oh, he's like a cheap loser or something. Like you have and that's wrong. You know what I mean? But like this fear that like you broke up because you didn't make enough money or because you didn't want to spend money the way she did. Like there's something that sucks about that.
Yeah, but what's worse is going broke to maintain a relationship.
Totally.
That's crazy.
They're going out 5 nights a week to fucking wherever spot.
It's at a certain point you're just sponsoring someone's life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it sounds like she's contributing too. That's why this is an interesting situation. It's not as much like And there's a movie. I think it's called Dancing in the Dark. Can you look at this? It's starring Bjork. But it's not as much about the guy is paying for everything and he needs to keep face up by like being able to buy whatever the wife wants. They're doing it together, which is like very unique version of this problem.
Yeah.
They're making similar amounts of money. This guy's like, we can't afford it. She's like, we can. And in Dancing in the Dark, what happens is Bjork is this guy's tenant and he can't afford the lifestyle that they have. And he tells Bjork about this.
Mm-hmm.
And Bjork is saving up money to pay for her son's eye surgery because she's going blind and she doesn't want him to go blind too.
Oh my God.
It's a great movie.
Good
It's like,
for
it's
Bjork.
weird. It's like a musical too. It's a really weird movie. But it's really good. Anyway, the guy finds out that she has this money saved and then steals the money from her because he can't tell his wife
Oh gosh.
that he can't afford it. And he's like, I'm sorry, like I can't. But anyway, that's like the traditional, not how that went down, but the traditional version of that is I'm a rich guy, you don't have to worry, and then you can't afford the lifestyle.
Right.
Not we both make money, you're spending crazy.
Well, okay. So back to this relationship. If she's able to afford it, great. If he's not, that's fine too. There's no relationship there that can continue where he isn't honest with her. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable reason to break up.
No, I agree.
If she's like, well, I want to be with someone who can keep up with me, and this is how I want to live my life, and if you're not that person, so be it. Goodbye. Fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And if he has to say, yeah, I had to be true to myself, I can't afford to keep up with you, I'm sorry, goodbye. Fine.
Yeah. And what ends up
Fine.
happening there too is like in 10 years, when this guy's being all responsible and shit, he's the one now living the baller lifestyle,
Yeah.
whereas she's been
And she's polishing his shoes.
dipping into the cookie jar
She's
too
now a
regularly.
shoe shine. One of the few female shoe shines that you see in the subway. Soot all over her cheeks, wearing one of those Rosie the Riveter outfits, red bandana around her hair. Her hair's all gnarled and knotty, full of knots.
Painting a nice picture.
She does that during the day, and then at night she's a chimney sweep.
Hello,
Like,
governor.
you really work in the soot, don't you? Good for you.
Well, dude, listen, maybe, we can give this guy some suggestions on how to sort of like cut back on some budgeting stuff so that maybe he can afford the lifestyle. And I think one of those ways would be to invest in a pair of Birddog shorts.
I completely agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. He could use promo code OOPS right now, and he would get something for free with his first order.
Which he could then give to her.
And maybe that would quench her material thirst.
Not to mention he could buy a pair of shorts that would be fit for using in the pool, on the golf course, and at one of these fancy dinners that they're going
Yeah,
to.
you could even lend them to her after she gets off her shift as a boot black and wants to climb into bed without showering off some of those dirty smudges. So you can give her a nice pair of clean Birddogs, and next thing you know, she's sleeping soundly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Birddogs.com.
Promo code OOPS. Go there today.
Well, dude, I promised this deer story, so I'd like to share this with you guys.
Oh, please.
I was like, I figured that the deer stories would start flooding in after that crazy one, but this one is also nuts.
Oh, dear.
And that is the subject line of the email.
Oh,
Took it
dear.
right out of his mouth. Hey guys, your deer story from the pod the other day reminded me of how my buddy had become, quote, the deer guy.
The deer guy.
My buddy was in his first year of university and living in residence. Wonder if this person is foreign. Who sent us this? Anyway, okay. His first year of university and living in residence. He had just gotten back to his dorm room from doing his laundry and sat down on his bed, opened his laptop and began to play some tunes while he folded his laundry. Suddenly, a deer jumps through the window of his first floor dorm room. Panicked, he runs around the manic deer and out the window, the deer had just shattered, and into the quad. The deer proceeded to stomp out his laptop on his bed and trash his room in an attempt to get out, and ultimately ended up going back out the window from which he entered, now leaking blood from the window. My buddy watches the bleeding deer run around the quad and past him. He turns to a guy who was watching the whole thing during a smoke break in the quad and asks him if he saw that out of a lack of disbelief himself. The guy casually drags from his cigarette and just says, "Yep." He goes, "That guy has seen some shit." The deer had now jumped into the river that ran through campus as animal security showed up in an attempt to catch the deer. The deer ended up succumbing to the injury, and we all threw an "oh dear" night at the local pub where cover charges and tips went to buying our buddy a new laptop.
Oh, wow. What a fun one. So good. So great.
If you guys have any other weird animal stories, I really enjoy them.
Yeah, we sure do. So what do you do, Julio, if a deer careens through your window of your dorm room?
Oh my God. I try to grab something to smash it in the head.
Oh.
The deer is now in my domain, dude, fucking up all my shit. I'm a college student. I don't have any money. Deer, you're not taking out my laptop, dude. I'm going to kill you before you take down my laptop.
But okay. On taking this from the other side of the hoof, of the hoof, couldn't you potentially try to corral it back out the window? Or
I mean, you can open your door, I guess, but then it runs into the hallway of the dorm, which
Yeah.
is still better than it being in your room.
That's right.
Your room is already affected. I don't know where the fuck this story took place, but I know where I'm from. There's ticks all over these deer, and you're going to get Lyme disease now. So,
Okay. But hold on, I got another thought, right?
Okay.
What about if you just grabbed the things that were most valuable, right? So you grabbed your laptop as if there were a house fire.
right.
Instead of a house fire, though, there's a rampaging deer. Just a whirling, like a Tasmanian devil deer.
Dude, what if you just choke it out, dude?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can. Deer are slippery.
Yeah, they're too skittish.
They are. You can't really wrestle a deer down,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you can't. I mean, you could, but you'd have to be some kind of fucking survival guy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can just, I mean, dude, they're crazy, these fucking
What
things.
if you kicked it in the back leg and hyperextended its knee? And then it's on three legs, and we all know deer can't. I mean, it's just going to be turning around in a circle on three legs. Right?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, maybe. But dude,
Is it-
deer,
then you take out another one of its legs, right?
how are you even, the deer is just, I mean, they're strong.
Let's say
and
that you're
powerful,
trying to
too.
subdue this deer by knocking its legs.
Dude, but their legs
Do
are
you
so
knock
strong.
out? Do you knock out its two back legs, its two front legs, or two legs on one side, or do you go the diagonal legs?
Dude,
Come on,
the
come on.
idea that you even have this choice is ridiculous. But if I did have the choice, I guess I go back legs.
Really? So
Yeah,
you turn the
because-
deer into a biped.
Although I guess the back legs will be easier for them to kick you in the face. So maybe the front legs. And bro, deer are strong, man. They can jump high and far.
Yeah, but hold on. I by your own reasoning, I now think that you should still take the back legs out.
Why?
Well, because in theory, if it's going to kick you with its back legs, as a horse does, it could theoretically just jump on its two good back legs, jump high enough, kick you, and then land on those same legs.
That's interesting. What's your answer? You say back legs
All right.
now?
So presuming that this deer is standing stock still
Which it's not.
with very stiff legs, no brace in its knee, no bend
Neither
whatsoever.
of those things are the case. But okay.
So, well, you
Okay, fine,
might find a deer that has a little arthritis in its joints and has to stand straight up. Maybe an
older
older
deer.
deer. Yeah, an older deer.
okay.
So my thought is that I would probably kick both the front left and the back left legs out, because I just think that the deer is at that point it's gonna tip over. I think a deer, given its belly, right, the weight of its belly, if it only has legs on one side of its torso operating, it's not going to be able to balance. Think of how little surface area there is of a hoof, right?
Yeah.
It's like a pelican standing on the carpet of your dorm room.
And if you get them down, it seems like it would take them a second to get up.
Yeah, at that point you can choke it out, which we've learned is a very convenient way to
Which is
put
a real way to take a deer down.
the deer out of your misery. Yeah.
Dude, that's so crazy. Deer are by far the cutest pest. They're a pest.
More than kangaroos?
Are kangaroos pests though? I know that
In Australia, kangaroos are pests.
they are.
Yes.
I know that they'll fight you. I've seen the one of the kangaroo fist fighting the guy.
They're
That's
everywhere.
That's the craziest, one of the great
It's the
videos.
greatest videos of all time.
So wait, they are everywhere? They're pests?
They're everywhere.
They are pretty cute too.
They're pestilent.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because here it's like pigeons are gross, seagulls are gross, obviously rats and like bugs are gross, but deer are kind of cute,
Yeah.
but they're terrible.
Riddled with ticks.
Riddled with ticks.
Riddled with ticks. All right. Let me know what you guys think in terms of how you would subdue that deer in your dorm room.
We would love to know.
We definitely need to know the answer to that. And we're good. That's it. That's Oops the Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to us. As always, please pass on the word if you enjoy our podcast. We're definitely trying to grow and reach new friends and family here. So send your thoughts to oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Check out Julio's travel series.
Mm-hmm.
He just put out his new one in Ecuador,
Mm-hmm.
which I haven't had the chance to watch yet, but I'm very excited to see.
Oh, cool.
Put that out last night, though, right?
No, I put it out last week, but
What the heck?
dude, it's all right.
Heavens to Betsy.
I'm going to establish this right now. You have no responsibility to watch the things I do, dude.
Oh, but
We do
I
lots
like
of stuff.
to.
I enjoy watching your shit too.
I don't watch them out of some sense of duty or friendship. I watch them because I enjoy them.
That's very kind. But no pressure. I will never feel offended if you don't get around to it.
Well, that's very kind. So we've got all of that coming up and lots more fun stuff. So check out my Patreon if you like my stuff. Patreon.com, Francis Ellis. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.